And we're on.
Here we are. What's up? What's up? Welcome to episode 8 of the Dopamine Flow.
We're getting so good at it.
Like fine wine. Are you kidding me?
Like
cut. Hey, thanks for rocking with us. If you came here through many of our social platforms, thanks for rocking with us. If you haven't yet, go ahead and subscribe on YouTube, follow us on Instagram, catch us on TikTok, which by the way,
Anthony doesn't check on. Check on like honestly, I wouldn't say daily basis because that's a little excessive. But this man wasn't checking at all. So a video went viral.
Yes.
This weekend, and I honestly thought you knew because if you don't know, Anthony is in charge of all of the accounts and stuff. He doesn't let me touch it. So he doesn't honestly, I was like, okay, he gets notifications. Didn't get any notifications. I get a message on Saturday. Was it Saturday?
Yeah, Saturday.
I get a message on Saturday, and I get like a TikTok that I guess he posted on.
No, it was a reel. It was an Instagram reel. No? Okay, continue the story. Maybe I'm off.
This guy.
Go on.
No.
Go off.
Go off, sis. No, I get... so my cousin actually sent me a TikTok, and he was like, are you famous? I was like, what are you talking about? He sends me the thing, and it hit, like, dude, it went viral. I don't even know how...
Right now, we are at 1.2 million. Yeah, 1.2 mil views on TikTok.
So...
Oh, you know what? Yes. Keep going. Keep going. Let me figure it out. Okay, 1.2 mil views on TikTok. Thank you. Thank you.
There you go. But then I assumed Anthony knew, and I was like, that's weird. He didn't send it to me. So then I sent it to him, and he's like, he calls me immediately. He's like, what the you didn't tell me, you didn't call me. I was like, you're in charge of the socials. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
And then, so that went super viral. It was like, I don't think it was that controversial of a topic. But anyways, fast forward. I had like a bunch of kids coming up to me, and we're like, they were just like, Miss, I saw you on my For You page. I saw you on my For You page this weekend. I was like, oh my God. But nonetheless, we appreciate like literally every single share, view, everything, like rocking with us hard. And honestly, it was such a good like topic to cover last episode. So just like getting those viewers up and getting those following. And if you've tuned in from that episode and you haven't watched the full episode, don't put words in my mother.
Exactly. No. Go watch the full. You don't even have to watch the full thing. Just watch that one segment.
Yeah.
So it's episode 7. We talk about the Coachella breakdown.
Mm-hmm. But we dug deep into it. Yeah. And honestly, like from that, I think it was just making it like, honestly, our full point was mad respect to everyone involved. If you listen to the full segment, honestly, like I am just shocked, and even still to this day, like I know we recorded that a couple weeks ago, but to this day, like numbers still keep going up. Like things are being produced and more music is coming out of like putting Mexicans up. Honestly, I was listening to another podcast, and they were talking about the same exact thing, which is crazy.
Did they get as much hate?
Well, it's Duno. Oh, it's like it's a brown bag.
We don't talk about them. We don't talk about other people's podcasts.
No, we eat. They eat. But they were talking about the same thing. They made the same exact points, and it's just like, honestly, I was talking to some of the kids. I was talking to some of the kids at work, and they were just like, and coworkers, and I was just saying like it's crazy because a lot of like different demographics. Like I know a lot of the people who were like commenting and stuff, like they're Mexican and they were defending Grupo Frontera, like or they were Puerto Rican and they were defending Bad Bunny.
Right, they were deep in those comments.
Let's look at Anthony's fit.
Yeah, so y'all were coming after me saying that like I'm, leave Bad Bunny alone. Like you're bashing Bad Bunny. Let me tell you something. I've been listening to Benito since 2017. You know what I'm saying? The old school stuff. I didn't come around during Dakiti or you know, all okay, I'm not throwing shade.
Yeah, look at
But
you.
anyways, so I
You're
had to
gonna
let y'all know, like, hey, yo, I've been rocking Benito, so I got
The
my
Yo
Yoga
Lo Que
Lo Que
Me
Me
Da
Da La
La
Gana
Gana,
shirt,
yeah.
and then I gotta have the Bad Bunnies on. So
Yeah, but honestly, like all I like from what conspired, I was just like making points. I was like, look, I have a lot, and I know like we're kind of in a bubble in LA because there's like mostly Mexicans here, and obviously there are different cultures and stuff, but primarily like those are the two that are engulfed. Like everyone around us because
yeah,
it's such a small community, but for the most part, I was just saying like, look, I understand like we Grupo Frontera was popping whatever, and they were. Trust me, like I listened to Bebe Dame, like to like their hits that were going
No
like
Se Va.
yeah, No Se Va, like all the hits that were coming up. But at the end of the day, like my friends who aren't Mexican, that are who are like a whole different Latino, like either Honduran, whatever it is, like Guatemalan,
Thank you, thank you.
Colombian, like those people would have never been exposed to that genre of music had it not been for Bad Bunny. It just opened gates.
Right.
So that was the point that I was trying
And
to
that's
make.
what we said.
And that's what we
That's
said.
what we said.
And that's what I said.
Hey,
And I'm going to say it again.
that's my word, and I'm sticking to it.
That's what I said. But no, like I mean, dude, I am such a proud, like I would never gatekeep. I hate gatekeeping. I always say, what do I say?
I don't know, because you gatekeep whatever you say. I'm just like,
He's such a liar. I say hot girls don't gatekeep.
oh, you're right. You did say that last
Yes,
time.
and
Yeah.
I'm like such an enthusiast. Like, look, no, I will never, ever, ever. Like, I'm gonna put you on, if anything. Like, and maybe I like ride too hard for some things, and I'm like, I love that. But I think for the most part, I'm like, look, I love our culture, our people getting exposure. I would never bash on anybody. Look, like we're getting recognized at a global level where we have never been before. And that makes me so excited because it's like genuinely I don't think I've ever felt understood on a bigger lens, because I think like everyone has certain like biases or like stereotypes or things about like Mexicans that are kind of like in a negative light, like because whether it's political or like cultural, I think a lot of people just have like certain things that think, oh, this is what makes you Mexican and like this is all it is.
Right.
So like growing up, it's kind of just like you're seen in this light and it's like, oh, like your parents like came here like illegally and like whether that's true or not, but they make it seem like into a bad thing. But I'm like, no, like, and I've never felt going to like different schools or like primarily like schools where yes, there is a bigger demographic of people, but at the same time they're in like what we would say like nicer neighborhoods and like where certain people won't understand what you have like come from. Like growing up in Lenox, like that's completely different from like growing up in like Manhattan Beach or like Redondo Beach.
Right.
So like when you say like, oh, I'm Mexican or like things like that, certain ideas start popping up in your head, or like you just don't ever feel like, oh, I feel proud about this thing. Like Mexican food, that's like the one thing that everyone is like, I love Mexican food.
Especially over Cinco de Mayo.
You know what
Are
I'm
you
saying?
kidding me? They were
Yes!
all, it was tough trying to get a, do you have a reservation?
Do you have a
like, no, I
reservation?
go here all the time.
What
oh,
the-
all of us, I ain't gonna go
Yeah.
there. But hey, yo, appreciate the love. Appreciate y'all supporting local.
Yeah.
Not Chipotle.
But
Like,
I know, Cafe Rio.
but if you want to sponsor us, hey, we love Chipotle. I had it for lunch today. No lie.
Give us gift cards. But I think that them coming up is like opening so many doors and gates and like things to like local people too, and like just the whole genre of music, it's being like appreciated as it should have been for such a long time. Like I'm not gonna cap, like when I was little and like my parents were listening to that, I was like, please take this off. I put in my AirPods, I'd be like, I don't want to listen to this. Right. But like obviously you grow, you mature, your tastes change. Right. Yes, like it's all like a domino effect. And I was like, I would never ever be against like other people appreciating or like indulging in our in like that in our culture, our music. So at the end of the day, it's a dub. It's a dub for everyone. And honestly, if you know me, you know I love Bad Bunny. I was gonna say, and he deserves the credit where credit's due. Like yes, I said he took an opportunity, like he saw an opportunity and he took it, as he should, as anybody would. Factually. Right. But at the same time, it's like, look, he came up, he opened the doors to like people who listen to his music and who don't listen to Grupo Frontera. You know what I'm saying? Like I couldn't like the numbers compared to like Grupo Frontera and Bad Bunny, like on a global scale, like obviously they were doing great, but they weren't being exposed to the people who only listen to Bad Bunny stuff. Like his name being on there exposed us to so many different like people. So it's like, dude, we're coming up like big time. So mad respect. That's all I have to say on the topic. And
How to get that off your chest? You were just like, you know what? Yeah.
I said, let me mic drop real quick. But no, like I would never ever like be against anybody coming up on their own thing if it was for a malicious intent or something, like obviously, but it wasn't the case. And you know, like they made their money, they got their exposure, like I'm happy for them.
And you know what, you did say that last podcast. So I think a lot of people just watched that one clip and thought like, oh, we're against the culture. No, it wasn't necessarily that. We were opening up the discussion. And actually a lot of people commented on there, I thought the same thing. Oh, it's about time someone said
which
it.
I was so confused. I was like,
so
who hasn't
it was very teeter-totter. And I
Right.
think that's why we want to talk about it, because there was two different opposing
we were
views.
like, let's talk about it.
So same thing. I'm a big Bad Bunny fan, so I'm not, I wasn't bashing him in any sense.
Yeah.
However, I do agree he saw an opportunity, he took it.
Yeah. Nothing wrong
And
with it.
more so what I meant by that was that his numbers were dropping. You know, you had everybody's riding on the corrido wave, and so the number one was Peso Pluma. And so he was becoming that number one.
Fire. Yeah.
And then Bad Bunny wanted to say, hey, I want a piece of the pie too. I love the music. I love the culture.
Yeah, there's nothing.
Let me get in on it.
Right. I'm not saying like he hated it. He was just like, he has a scheming plan. But like, obviously, there's trends. There's things that happen. Like music changes all the time. Like right now, we're coming up. Like I literally hear music being played. I'm like, what the like? Who is playing this right now? Because it's just like, it's just wild to hear what only I would hear certain like friends of mine play, and now everyone's listening to it. I'm like, I get it. Like Peso Pluma is like on the come up. Like everything about him.
And again, so going back into that leeway of how Bad Bunny is tapping into that culture, he actually started that in a sense with Nathaniel Cano when they did the collab. And that's when, and I had talked about myself, that's when I got into like corridos tumbados and stuff like that, into Nata. So I don't know. I think there's still more to. It's an open discussion.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
And that's gonna be like, that's just the evolution of music altogether, and like that's the evolution of everything. Like, and people are gonna come up, people are gonna fall off. Like, it is what it is. And I think with social media, like everything's just so like not accessible, but just like everything is so moving at like a faster pace.
It is, yeah.
Where like Peso Pluma, I was like listening to something, I was like, it was like one of the things that like came up like super quick. Like with Bad Bunny, he's been on a journey for how long? Like if you really listen to Bad Bunny, how long?
Yeah, I mean, it depends. So you see his SoundCloud, journey.
Bro, Peso Pluma like dropped and like has had hits with like many people. Bro, everyone's getting mullets now, aka Anthony.
Okay, so hold on. To my defense,
no.
I started growing out my mullet back in December. So December, January, February, March, April, May. Ya hombre. So come on now.
Someone knows
so I was,
months.
I kind of foresaw what was going on. I was rocking with the Peso Pluma back then in the colder, months.
In the colder months? No. So, and I think that is like the biggest thing is like, he's an artist who has moved so quickly and like who we haven't seen a journey. Like from like what we know, like he was a soccer player. He like attended like the Chivas Academy. He was like on his way he played with like some Mexican selection, like the selección. Yeah. Like really good Mexican players. And then music just like popped off for him. We don't know his journey. We don't know, like I'm not discrediting him, but at the same time, it's like, he popped off. He got so big. Went to Coachella as a guest.
Yeah,
like,
that was awesome.
All that stuff, like so quickly that we don't know his journey. Like he just popped off super quick to everyone in the world. So I think that's what makes it different, and like that's why you kind of like to say like Peso Pluma is better than Bad Bunny. I would never make an accusation like that, or like would you?
Well, Peso Pluma did
that didn't come out of my mouth.
Peso Pluma did say at his concert, he was all like, I think it was at his concert, but he was pretty much like,
yes,
saying
yes,
like,
yes,
oh,
yes.
one day I'm gonna be bigger than
Yes,
Bad Bunny.
yes,
You know what I'm saying?
I do remember that.
And,
But he popped off super quick, which
popped
is
off
the
quick,
difference
yeah.
between them two. But at the same time, like, it's all trends. Like your mullet will go out of style one day.
Well, will it though? The OG mullet rockers were like our parents, if you think about it. Because
Not
they were
my parents.
well, okay, well, because they
like
were
those bookies.
that's exactly what I was gonna say.
I was
Those
gonna say,
bookies,
wait.
they were the original. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you had like
Yes,
everybody. You know
you're
what I'm
right.
saying?
No,
Like
that
rocking
was
the
like
mullets,
a Jerry curl though.
a little perm in there.
Yeah.
But I think everything kind of rotates back in style, just like clothing. Everything kind of rotates.
Yeah,
back,
everything's a
you know?
trend. Like, definitely a trend. Like,
Yeah.
music is definitely a trend. Wardrobe is definitely a trend. Like, things are all like, it's always going to be in rotation. And like, honestly, I think with social media, that's like the biggest thing is like things will always be in rotation. That's why I'm like, these kids keep me humble at work because I'm like, what the f-?
Hey, shout out to all the students watching us, by the way. Shout out one time.
Thanks, guys. But I think honestly, they like, I see some of the stuff now. I'm like, I don't understand that. And then I'm like, am I old? Like, are we getting old? Like, I'm almost in a quarter life crisis. I don't know if
What do you mean by like you see some of the stuff and then like what exactly?
Some of the things. Okay. One of the things that like came back that was like super crazy to me. I was like, is this a thing now? Like, other than the mullets, because honestly, I've seen a lot of the mullets coming in, and I'm not gonna lie. Like, I've encouraged some of them. I've been like,
that looks fire, bro.
That's such a fire look. Like,
but you know what? If it was back in our days, we would have said like, "That's chunty."
Yes, we would be made fun of.
Bro,
so
mop top, cut
bad.
that off.
Yeah,
you know
like,
what I'm saying? Like,
no, do you remember when rat tails were
rat
a thing?
tails or the Jedi braids?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm unlocking like so
The
many
rat
core
tails,
memories
Jedi
right now.
braids, the color skinny jeans.
The jeans. No, do you remember the skinny jeans?
That was during the
I
jerkin
think
era.
I had purple, green. Oh my god, I think I had
I didn't even
red.
have all that.
No, I had multiple. Like, I was with the trends.
The flannels with the tistic pose. No?
I was never.
Okay. All right. Well, 2011, 2012.
You're
I think it was.
also a little older.
Well, not that much. But yeah. So, trends.
Your old friend. Your old friend tries to be relatable.
Huh?
No, I'm joking. I was never allowed. Honestly, that's coming from a place of like FOMO because I was never allowed MySpace or Facebook.
Okay.
So I was never.
So Tom was
exposed-
never your friend.
Who the fuck is Tom?
See? If you had a MySpace, you
Tom?
know. So Tom was the creator of MySpace.
Right, I know that.
And so whenever you would make an account, you automatically
Had a friend?
Had one friend,
and
it was Tom.
Shout out Tom.
Insert
No.
clip picture of Tom with the whiteboard.
Here. No, I've never, honestly, I never was, my mom was super strict. And she was like, if I find out you have a Facebook, I'm going to not, you know.
But MySpace was a shit. Like, you
No,
can
I
have a
remember.
song
You can
on
have
your
a song.
profile.
Hey, shout out to one of my really close friends, but her and her now husband got together because of MySpace.
Damn.
I think, what can you do on MySpace that like,
Everything.
like, could you, no, poking was on Facebook, but like, what on MySpace?
I forgot about that. That was the way we used to like. That's how. Yeah, that's how we used to like. At your crush, you know, say you poke them, and then when they poked you back,
You're like,
let's go.
You said, yeah, you want to be my girlfriend?
That's so funny.
But no, they got together because of MySpace.
Yeah,
but I was never allowed MySpace. Like,
right.
The thing is, like, we rolled out with social media. Like, social media was rolling out when we were growing up, so it's not like we were like consumed, whatever. Like, it was still, they were trying to figure out everything. I was never allowed MySpace, and it made me so sad. And I was like, honestly, if you know me, I just don't mess around when it comes to my mom. Like, I'm like, she has rules.
Respect the jefita.
Yeah, like,
you should.
she do not play. I'm not going to disclose her name. But if you know, you know.
I was about to say, we ain't disclosing it.
Yeah, if you know, you know. But I was never allowed MySpace or Facebook. And I remember, like, people would talk about it. They'd be like, oh, like, I'm going to change my song. And, like, you were coding.
Exactly. That's how we first learned a code. You change your profile. Are you kidding me? Now I forgot all that. How to make the background black, how to make the text this and that. We were OG coders.
We were doing their job for them.
Or you would go on websites to copy the code for a certain layout.
I would
you know
copy
what
the
I'm saying?
code. Yeah. I forgot what it was. Oh, it was like my Tumblr era. Like,
Oh yeah, everyone had. Well, see, yeah, we
yeah,
had
yeah, we
that.
had the Tumblr. I was like, I was never allowed that, so I never knew. But like the trends were so crazy. Like I remember seeing like the snapbacks with like the filters, but that was on Facebook. And
Mhm.
sorry, mom, but like I did make a Facebook at a
Ooh.
certain point. I did
Look at
because I was
that.
so like, and I didn't even use it like for that. Like eventually she found out, but I was like, I didn't even use it for that. It was just like I just wanted to like be part of the
Connect. Yeah, you just wanna.
conversation. I had
I
FOMO.
know that feeling. Because I remember back in the day when Circuit City was still around. You don't know what Circuit City is? What? It's like, all right. So it was Best
It was
Buy's.
like Best Buy.
Oh, see, you do know.
Yeah, it's
No,
like
don't try to
it's
make.
like
Don't try to front
I
on
wanted
camera.
to
Don't
make
try to
it.
front
I
on
wanted to
podcast.
make you feel old.
Get out of here. We're gonna mute you right now.
I wanted to make you feel old.
Anyways, yeah, when Circuit City was closing, there was ¿cómo se llama? Xbox 360,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I remember
And I
that.
told my mom, I was like, "Mom, please, like, can I get it?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Mom, like, I feel bad because I kind of guilt tripped her. I said, all my friends play on it, and if you don't give me, like, if you don't allow me to get one, like, I
I'm
won't be
gonna
able to
be a
have friends.
loser,
Yeah,
Mom.
I can't play with my friends. We won't have anything to talk about, and they won't be my friends anymore. That's kind of messed up. Huh?
Damn.
Anyways, guess who got an Xbox 360? Yeah, boy.
I don't have any friends. Mom.
So I get
That's
what you mean
funny.
about that FOMO, but that was the
No,
trend back then.
yeah.
Everybody was doing that.
Those
you
were
know?
the trends. Like, and I didn't want to be a part of them, but I was like, I felt
Right,
left
right.
out. I have a friend who wasn't allowed to watch Jersey Shore.
Oh, I love
To
Jersey
this
Shore. Are you
day,
kidding me?
doesn't get any references.
It's one of my favorite shows.
Toxic.
I wanted.
Who's your favorite character?
Well, I wanted to get a
Not a
duck
character,
phone in
but-
here.
Oh,
Kid you
my
not, like
God.
quack quack. Yeah.
We're taking calls. We're taking calls from the callers.
Okay.
Some good ones.
If I were to be somebody from Jersey Shore, who would I be?
Oof.
Because we used to say this back then, like, oh,
No, who would I be?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know. I'm not gonna bring that up.
I've had like 3 people say the same person.
People
Yeah.
got into fights for being called out.
Word?
Like, yeah, like being called Angelina and shit.
Oh yeah, you don't want to be called a
No,
dirty little
yeah.
hamster. The Staten Island Ferry. You kidding me? Who
What
wants
was
to be
it?
called
Wait,
Angelina?
I would think you were. I don't think solid. I think you'd be like a crossover.
Okay, I like that.
I'd say Vinny. And
Nice.
maybe Polly.
Okay.
Vinny and Polly, like a crossover. Vinny, like his anal side, because I know Vinny's super like particular about stuff, and Polly, because like you like to have fun, you like to do stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Maybe I was a different person back then, but which
Please
I
don't
was.
say you were Mike. Oh
I
my
was a
god! Because
situation.
I was trying so
I
hard not to
was a
say situation because I
situation.
could see it, but I wasn't gonna do you like that.
And it's funny because back then, Sammy had like a poof, like a blowout. So
Oh,
he
I
was,
remember.
so he was naturally
Yeah,
Pauly
yeah,
D,
'cause
and
he
they were
had
like,
the-
"Oh, it works out because Pauly's always the nice one, and Mike was the dick."
Yeah, guys.
So, but I turned into a Vinny now, right? Right?
yeah.
Ron.
I was gonna say Ron. No,
No,
I don't
heck
know. I don't
no.
know.
Yeah,
you
we
as a
don't- we
Ron.
don't-
I don't
yeah,
know
we
you
ain't
as a
that
Ron.
toxic.
What character would you be? Would I be?
Let me think.
That's
You
hard, huh?
are. Yeah, that is a tough
I'm
one.
just so amazing.
Okay, you are also a crossover.
Right? I'm not. I don't think I'm a solid one. You say
Mm,
Sammy.
You're a crossover between.
Something
I
stupid.
was gonna say Sammy Sweetheart.
No. Okay, I
I was
have
gonna
someone
say
in my head. I have someone in my head, and
a
if you don't
cross-
say it, I'm gonna be really upset.
Is it JWoww?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say
I
you
was
give
gonna
off
say Jenny.
JWoww.
I
Yeah.
was gonna say Jenny.
That's
I
so
love
funny.
Jenny. She's real. She's the
You know,
realest.
you know that they have the OG house in New Jersey up on Airbnb or something like that.
Oh, I
or
would
you can do
never
tours in
stay
it.
there.
Yeah, yeah, I would never stay there, but I would
would
want to go.
cash
Yeah, I would want to go on like the
Walk
tours or
around.
whatever. That'd be awesome. Go to the boardwalk.
To the Jersey Turnpike.
Are you
and,
kidding me?
What was it? Karma?
Yeah, Club Karma is shut down. So let me tell you something,
Bro,
My
listen,
goal, yeah,
my brain, if I used it at 100% power without all this useless information, I'd be unstoppable.
I remember I made it one of my like I was like, dude, for my 21st, we're gonna go to Club Karma. We're gonna party like they did in
In
Jersey
Jersey
Shore.
Shore.
And then that thing closed down and shut down. Yep. Anyways, we love that. That's a good trend. Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, I love the Jersey Shore era. Yeah, shouldn't have been watching that as a
Yeah.
whatever age I was. That's a lot of it's a lot of exposure. I wasn't influenced though, but it was a lot of like to take in. You know what I'm saying? And I think
Right.
there's a difference between having kids who are influenced by things
Yeah.
and just kids who like can watch and be entertained and like leave it at that. And I think I was one of those kids. Like I just wanted entertainment.
I feel you.
But that was one of the trends.
I feel like a lot has changed just like generationally, like,
Oh my god, so
you know,
much.
especially kind of just seeing like how high schoolers not react, but like do certain things, even just like communicate, right?
Dude, it's so funny. Who was it? Oh, someone was saying something. And I was like, no, I had to have been at work. I had to have been listening on a conversation.
That one.
But the trend now that I've realized is like, they don't really speak in like sentences.
It's just TikTok sounds
Yes.
and ad libs.
Yes. It's like I get it. I get why you're using it. I get
it's
like
annoying.
it's definitely like I say it sometimes. Like I'm like side eye.
Yeah, you
know,
do.
but
Yeah.
but that's because I'm surrounded by us. Like someone was like, "Oh, no wonder you're so hip." I was like, "No, I think it's just like my mind listens to it all day. That I'm like, it just comes out. It's just like little sounds in my head. But that's their language that
Yeah.
they use. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm like,
Yeah.
huh, interesting. Like I feel like my mom. What did we have when we were younger that might have been like equivalent to that? I don't know, but like I just picture my mom being hella annoyed at like my conversations with people like over the phone or something and being like, "¿De qué putas están hablando?" You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like that with this generation. I'm like, am I old? Like am I getting old? Because that like it makes me upset. I'm like, what are you guys even saying? You know what I'm saying? Like why are you
It's all in code.
Yes. Yes. Like, and sometimes I'm like, are you talking about me? Like, because I don't get what you're saying.
Yeah. But I
don't
feel
know.
like, you know, back then, like, at least for us, it was more through AIM, text messaging.
my
You know, text message back then, they used
know
to
I
like
still
cost like
have-
10 cents and whatnot. Phone calls. Oh, call me after 9 because it's free. Were you
I remember
ever in
that.
Yep.
My cousin, I'm going to rat you out right now, girl, because I'm going to rat you out because I'm a snitch. I had unlimited because I had Verizon.
Oh, damn.
And
Big
I don't
baller
know.
back then.
No, I don't know. Look, I had people to talk to, places to be.
Right.
No, she would sleep over and she'd be like, "Can I use your phone to call so and so?"
You were calling American Idol to vote. Don't lie.
I've never actually ever like indulged in a full season of American Idol. But she like used my phone and I was
Yeah.
like, and I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
She was like, "Oh, it's past 9. Like I can't call you. I'll call you on my cousin's phone." I was like,
Yeah, you'd get free calls
Yes.
after 9. So it's like, oh, don't call me till after 9. You know,
Yes.
like, or you'd know. You know, don't call up whoever.
"Oh my god, we live such a hard life."
Yeah, or if you accidentally hit the internet button, there was a physical button on your phone. You had to exit out real quick
Yes.
because that
Oh
would
my
be
God.
really expensive.
I remember.
and your parents would be pissed on
No,
the bill.
that happened to me once.
Yeah.
My mom was like, "Did you go on the internet?" I was like, "No," but I remember accidentally hitting the button, and if that thing loaded, like you were done.
Dunzo.
And I would hit the end call button, like
You get the Ask Jeeves page.
Yes. Oh my
Flashback. She's getting all
God.
these flashbacks right
I'm
now.
literally like
Yeah.
like I'm.
And
I'm
you
like,
say I'm old.
you are old.
All right.
You're old. You're
But
older.
I think, yeah. So I think like a lot has changed. Even the way that like, how do I say? What we were talking about earlier, you know, on Facebook, you could poke someone. That's your way of like telling, you know, your crush or whatever. Nowadays, I kind of feel like it's, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like it's liking Instagram stories. And hold on,
I don't
before I get deep into that.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yes, friends, we like each other's Instagram story. But when it's somebody that you actually like, and you have a feeling they might like you back, and you
It's
guys are playing these
different.
little tags, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? I feel like that's now the equivalent of a Facebook poke. What do you think?
Personally, I was so scared of liking people's stories for that reason. Because I was like, I don't want to send the wrong message.
So do you think guys are just
I don't
wired that way?
know. Yes. Like for me, it was like, okay, realistically, I when they first rolled out that feature or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I started hearing stories like, oh, if they like your stories, like
Uh-huh.
I remember everyone was like popping off with like, oh, they liked my story, like I'm gonna whatever, blah blah. I was like, oh, now I can't like people's stories, like, because then they're
Right.
gonna get the wrong impression or whatever. Now I just be liking shit that I like.
Yeah. Bump, bump, bump.
Everyone's
Next,
getting a
next,
like.
next.
Yeah, everyone's getting.
You get a like. You get a like. You get a like.
I'm Oprah in this bitch. No, but I was like so scared, and I was like, oh god, it's gonna be weird. Like, I don't want to send them the wrong message,
Yeah.
whatever. And then, but now I think it's like a weird mix. I think it's hard to read because you have people like me who are just like, I like this, I'm gonna
Right.
like it. And then you have people who like obviously are doing it intentionally, and they're like, oh, but I also think like what you're posting is like, you know, if you're posting a thirst trap, like,
Yeah.
and then you're getting likes on it, you're like, oh,
I'll say this. I don't
Thanks.
give out my likes freely.
oh,
I'm
and I,
I'm not stingy with my likes,
And
but like
I-
if I genuinely like it, I'm gonna like it. You know what I'm
I
saying?
don't go out of my way,
Yeah.
but I actually have to like what I'm looking at.
Exactly.
Like if you look really pretty, I'm gonna be like, or if you post like a really dope thing, I'm gonna like.
Right.
Like it's just those types. Like if I like it, I'm literally gonna like it. There's no thought behind it. Like for me, it's not like, oh, I want to get at this guy. I think he's really cute. Let me send him like a signal, like a poke. Like pokes were intentional.
You gotta send the fire flames. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I think if you send something
that's something
separately,
different.
I think that's where I'm. That's my coding. of,
Okay.
like, but my likes are just likes. Like I just like what you're posting. I don't do it intention. I don't do it with like any intent of like wanting you. Sometimes it happens, and I'm like,
And then they'll DM you or whatever the case may
yeah. And I'm like, damn, I sent the wrong message.
be. Let me ask you something.
Sent
Let me ask you something. What's worse, getting left on read
Okay.
or getting left on delivered? So A, meaning one, they actually saw it and it says
I feel
read,
like I'm taking a quiz.
right?
Answer
and it says they
A,
actually
B,
saw
or
it.
C. Okay.
Or B, you just got left on delivered, meaning they didn't even open it yet. They just like deleted
Okay,
the
I'm
chat.
gonna
or whatever
in
the
my
case.
head, I'm gonna pretend like this is DMs because
Yeah.
I have my red receipts.
That's what I
off.
mean, yeah, DMs,
on.
yeah.
I have my red receipts off, so no one will ever know. I'll just,
My bad.
honestly, if I forgot to text you back, it's because I was doing something and then I opened
Yeah.
it and then I stopped. I think getting left on
What's worse?
red on red is worse.
Yeah.
Because me, I get. I'm gonna sound so fucking like annoying.
Let's do it.
But I think with me, sometimes like I just ignore certain things like for the influx or because I'm busy or whatever that it like moves down the line and then I never see it. So then unless I'm like unless I'm bored and then I'm like going through all the stuff, like I'll open it and then I'll see like, oh, they messaged me, like, what does this say? It's not intentional. I'm not intentionally leaving you undelivered. Like I'm not gonna open it. I think if you saw it and it was something like of the source of like me signing your DMs and you saw it and then you just like exited out and then didn't feel the need to respond, I'd be like, because I leave my things on unread for a reason because eventually I'll come back to it.
Right.
Like if I can't,
yeah,
if
that's
I
me
can't,
too.
yeah,
So I
if
don't forget.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Like if I can't open it right now or respond right now, I'll just leave it until I come back to it and then
Until
I'll
I have
open
time,
it
yeah.
and then I decide whether I want to respond.
Whether you want to respond to it or not.
Right. But I think for the most part, if you're seeing it and then you're leaving it on red, I'm like, damn, like that's a shot to the ego.
I don't know, but actually getting left on delivered is a whole nother thing.
No, because
I
in
feel,
my
you know?
head, my mind doesn't go to automatically like, oh, they just don't care about me. They don't want to open it.
Okay,
my mind
but-
goes like, oh, they were just super busy and like they haven't seen it, whatever, blah blah.
Okay, but let's say they're the one who replied to your
That's, like, getting
story,
interesting,
and
though.
then you actually reply to that, and then they leave you on delivered. I'm like, bruh, you were the one that replied to me. You know what I'm saying?
Started
Like,
the conversation,
bro, like, yeah, you
now
started a conversation. Now you're trying to go. It don't work like that, bro. It don't work like that.
You know what? That's such a hard. Because I
They
don't
haven't get too
read.
personal
No,
on this one, huh?
it's like we're really digging. No, I think I don't read into it as
Okay.
much. I just don't be thinking about things that hard. because it just doesn't matter. I don't know.
Right.
I think I just have bigger fish to fry.
I feel you, bigger fish to fry. Yeah.
Like I'm just like, unless I'm really interested. Okay, we're talking romantically, or are we just talking like in general?
In general, sure. I mean, someone you're interested in.
Okay, Okay, so romantically, if you leave me on delivered, if you're not even opening my stuff,
right.
I'm like, that's crazy. Cause like you know, cause I'm like, why would you not even? What if I had something nice to say?
Yeah.
You don't want to know what I have to say.
Let me ask you another thing, because I feel like this goes back to our generational things with trends.
Yeah, you know, I want to ask some of the kids. I want to be like, do you leave?
We're gonna get them on the potty potty or what?
Honestly, I think they're just ruthless. And
yeah, they don't care. They don't care.
I think they just be leaving everyone on scene. Like,
they don't care. Yeah, exactly.
Disrespectful.
They're gonna start posting on the stories. Well, let me ask you another thing. Now that like dating apps, have become a big thing.
Yeah.
And I feel like, in a sense, it depends who you ask. They're still kind of like taboo in a sense. But
dating apps?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
that's weird.
Okay, so what would you say is worse? And I say this kind of thinking from a like presenting them to my mom, right? A Hispanic, a Latina woman, right? Who's
my mom would kill.
Not in the generations, doesn't understand and grew up with that, very old school.
Yeah.
So
they're like, I met your dad at the North Gate.
Oh yeah, one time, I was like,
he came
was
up
doing
to me,
the
he asked
farm.
me to dance.
Yeah, exactly, something like that. So let me ask you, what do you think is worse? Meeting someone on a dating app, and when I say meeting someone, it's like your significant other, right? Your boyfriend or girlfriend. Mm-hmm. What's worse?
Like you're serious.
Right, you're serious.
Okay.
What do you think is worse? Meeting them on a dating app or meeting them at the club or bar?
I'm not going to lie to you. I think...
It's a tough one.
No, it's definitely tough. I think, personally, if I had to introduce them to my parents...
Yeah.
And I met them through a dating app, I would have such a hard time. Not because they don't get it or whatever, because like they're kind of modernized, whatever. But I think it'd just be like you literally met a stranger on the internet and then went out with them and you weren't scared to like die. Uh-huh. Because I think they have that perception of like that's what's going to happen. But for me personally, honestly, I don't see an issue with meeting people on at clubs or at bars. I don't see an issue with it. Okay. Because I think for the most part, like I'm there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm having a good time with my friends, whatever. Like, but if I see you and like you walk in, you like, hey, yo, Johnny, let me get the usual. Then I'm gonna be like, what the are you doing? What are you doing? I mean, like, why are you here all the time? Like, what game are you playing?
Right. That's a tough one because I was thinking the same way, and so I've never downloaded like a dating app. That's just I don't know. It's just not my thing,
just a
right?
Lot, yeah.
So yeah, on the weekends, like you'll probably or you used to maybe every once in a while. All right, you'll probably find me, not so much clubs anymore, but like a bar, or whatever the case you may,
Yeah. Where you go?
So. So I was thinking like, okay, like, well, me personally, I would like someone who, is into like dancing, you know what I'm saying? Likes music just as much as I do.
Like going out.
Going out, you know what I'm saying? Like the perreo, the vibes, you know what I'm saying? So
perreo, that's different.
Well, no. So yes, naturally I would want someone like me, but yes. Right. But yes, at the same time, I don't know if I would want to meet my significant other at a bar or club. So it's kind of like...
Well, what's your reasoning behind that?
I think it's the negative connotation behind it.
No, te pasas de verga. Yeah. Because like at the same time, you're there.
Exactly.
And you're going to go to the bar and club with your significant other eventually.
Yeah.
So this shit does not make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, the
Get
logic.
it. Yeah,
I don't get the logic.
Make sense.
But for me, I'm like, look, I don't see anything wrong unless it's like a nightly thing where like you're in there too much.
Right. And then that's a whole different
thing.
I'm
like, well, why are you like, you don't like, what are your hobbies? What do you like to do other than like go drink, go out? Like if that's your whole world, like then I'm like, oof. You know what I'm saying? Then if I'm meeting you and then I figure that out, like, oh, he is here every single day or like every single weekend, and like that's his vibe, whatever. Then I'm seeing that as a red flag. But I don't have an issue like meeting people at the club because I've met really cool people like at the club. You know what I'm saying?
And sometimes you're just there like celebrating a friend,
right?
You know what I'm saying? You're there for something, right?
Every single that's what I'm saying.
You know, it's not like you're there to watch, DJ so and so every Friday night spinning the ones and twos in the VIP booth that got you the table in the back
in the section.
You know what I'm saying?
No, exactly. So I don't think that has as much as a negative connotation because you'd be like, oh, we met like when I went out, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I don't think that's as bad as like, oh, I met a stranger online, whatever. Not that I'm saying that's bad because like I don't knock it. I wouldn't, like personally, I think I would have a hard time doing that, but I understand that it's not like a crazy like it's gonna turn into like a murder mystery type of thing, like that our parents probably think it is.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And I forgot to give a disclaimer that we're not throwing shade at any point of view.
No.
But I think like
it works. I know people who
a lot of people that I know have
married.
Exactly. Yeah. I just think for me personally, it's not my move. And I'm always curious, like, okay, what do you think? Because I've had people say like opposing things, Yeah.
I know people who would be like, I am never going to wife somebody who's in the club.
Exactly,
Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you're in the club too. Like, if you weren't in the club and you said I would never meet somebody who's going to the club, I would understand.
All right, never.
Tickets. Oh. Give me PG-13. But that logic would make sense to me. I think if you're coming at me from like, I know you're in the club every weekend. You're telling me that you wouldn't date somebody in the club. You'd be lying. Like, they'd be lying.
Right.
And also, like, online dating is such a normal thing. I feel like everyone does it.
Online dating?
Yeah. Like, I don't know. Which is weird because people have, like, because I've not really dabbled in the thing, but like people are like, oh, you go for certain apps for certain things, and I'm
yeah,
okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
like so it's like a whole community,
right?
Like,
right. You got to know it. It's funny because
my ass would be on the like, oh.
When I tell my friends I've never downloaded it, they're like, "You're lying. You're bullshit."
Yeah.
Like, nah, like I swear, like it's just not for me.
Yeah.
And then one of them was like, "Oh, I'm gonna make one for you." I'm like, "No. Like I'm gonna like run into someone I know." Like, no. We're good.
That's what I'm saying. And also, like, we live in a really small community where it's like, oh, you might see that when you're getting coffee the next day.
I'm good off that.
No, but honestly, for my personal thing, it's like I think I would have a harder time explaining to people that I met somebody like online dating rather than like in the bar or club, because like that's usual. Like, we're young, we go out,
right.
We meet new people, like, and people are so friendly nowadays that it's just like it's not like a weird. I don't know. I've never understood the full connotation of like. The only thing that I've understood is like, oh, if they're in the club, they're like for the streets,
right?
You know what I'm saying? But which most people who are there.
No, we just like a good time.
Yeah, you like
to
to party.
Yeah. No, yeah.
You like to.
I guess the definition of that.
Yeah, no. You'd like to like go out, look. Yeah. I go because I like to dance.
Music, yeah. I like the ambiente.
But I do know people who like go like.
Just to get tore up from the floor up?
Yes, like go or like go to just watch people and then make
they're scouting.
Move. Yes.
You know what we call that? We call that sharks. It's a shark infested water. It's so funny. Like, as a guy, you just kind of step back and you take a look around. Yeah.
Maybe I'm too short.
And you can already know, like, you'll see the guys go like, all right, maybe I'm giving out too much. My bad. I'm giving out too much information for the ladies.
Ladies,
so you'll see the guys, like, they'll go like that, and they'll literally, like sharks, like blood in the water. They'll kind of like circle around, try to think about their way of getting in. They'll try to like talk to the friend, you know what I'm saying, to get the in. Once you got that in, you're inside the circle. You're inside the school of fish, you know what I'm saying? So that's when the shark goes down for the kill. It's
like Shark Week.
But it's funny sometimes. Like I'd see a guy like on his way, to the dance floor to go talk to a girl, whatever, and a girl would just be like this, like no, like wouldn't even make it all the way there, just like no.
You've seen that?
Or the girl would just like grab her friend, like, come on, let's go, type of
I've
thing.
seen that.
Yeah. It's just funny. It's funny
Now
taking a
we
step back and just looking at it. I'm like,
know.
these chumps, you know what I'm saying? And then it's
It's
funny
because
because,
that's what
and
you're
then when you
not there
start
for that.
vibing on your own, that's what really attracts, because people get attracted to energy, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
oh, this guy's having fun. He's having a good time. He's not this weirdo just kind of staring at me with his beer like that.
Yeah. No, honestly, because that throws us off. Like, I'm like, you
Yeah.
have 100% more of a chance if you're just like a normal person.
Have
like,
a good time on your own,
like
you
just
know what
like
I'm saying?
vibing.
With your group, whatever
Yeah,
the
if you
case
give
may
off
be.
like, bro, vibes are real.
Yeah.
Like, if you're giving off a creeper vibe, and like, girls aren't dumb. Like, we see guys trying to make a move or like coming in, like, we're not oblivious to it.
Yeah, yeah.
But at the same time, it's like when you're just standing in a corner, like by yourself or like with one other homie, and you're in the club or in the bar, we're like, yeah, they're here for one thing.
Well, someone trying to dance, you know what I'm saying? They're just too shy, I feel. Agree to disagree.
shy.
I'm shy.
I'm shy.
Anyways, I'm gonna throw a poll on here, and I'm curious to see like
I
what
wonder.
people think is worse. You know?
Honestly, I don't. I think we're just so modernized.
Yeah.
We've just grown. It's 2023.
Look at us.
It's 2023. As long as you're not on some weird stuff,
Right.
I think no one will have like an issue with either or.
And you know what? Pretty soon, we had talked about this last time, but pretty soon we're gonna have guests come on our podcast.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be interesting to have a third perspective. Not only would you get a female male perspective,
You're gonna have
you'll have a third
nother
person.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't
So that
wait
should
for
be
that.
fun.
I feel like I'm gonna catch hands with somebody.
Oof.
Yeah, we gotta be careful with
Keep
who
them
we-
away. Keep this tequila away. No more tragos.
No, because it's honestly like, I think. Wait, you thought club?
¿Qué pasó?
You thought club? That was your thing?
What I thought was worse?
Yeah.
What did I say? No, dating app.
Oh yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
mine too.
Yeah.
But see, it's so hard.
It's just not me personally. Yeah.
But that's personal preference. That's not like.
Also, I haven't tried it, so who knows?
Okay, from a non-biased perspective, what would you think is worse?
Non-biased?
Yeah.
None. Do I really
None.
think that? No. Is that tequila talking? Yeah.
No, I genuinely don't see an issue. Look, I've heard some weird ass stories like of people meeting. Like, it's chill. Like, I don't knock it. Like, that's your vibe. Like, they met like
Right.
you know, through some people.
Don't
or
knock it until you
whatever.
try it.
Yeah.
Meh.
I'm good.
Yeah. Anyways, well, that about wraps us up for episode 8.
Yeah, that was
Josh,
episode
you want to
8.
give us the outro?
I don't know it yet.
Oh, come on. It's 8th episode
I
by
don't
now.
know it yet.
So if you haven't been following
did
us
you
yet,
figure it out?
go ahead and follow us on Instagram. You can catch us on YouTube at the WME Flow. TikTok, you'll probably see us on there. And
Oh yeah, hopefully if you do, please do not.
yeah, don't come up to her and tell her
I
you
missed-
found her on her.
Sorry on my For You page.
And yeah, that wraps us up. So cool. Thanks for rocking with us. We'll catch you guys next time. Peace.
Bye.